58 pole with Ruffian in front by 7 lengths. Something wrinkled on the outside, second point in time. The other's now far back. It's Ruffian draws away to lead by 9. It's Ruffian in front and going easily.
Hello, it's Bob Pandolfo. Welcome to Power Pace, and this is my YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button. It's free. And today is May 10th. It's Wednesday, 2023. I want to talk about some factors. You know, in thoroughbred racing, sometimes the horse will disappoint you. You know, the horse will be running well, all of a sudden it doesn't run well. A lot of times there's a reason for that. You know, it could be that it had a bad trip. Sometimes it's just that the horse doesn't like the surface. And you know, some of the low percentage trainers sometimes make the mistake of putting horses in where it doesn't really suit their pedigree or their running style. You see that a lot with these trainers that have a low percentage. But I want to talk about an angle which is simply fast tracks against off tracks. Right? So now this is Belmont last week. This is the 5th of May. And here you can see there's a horse named Warman Road who raced in it. He was dropping down into a non-winners of 2 lifetime $40,000 claimant. Now you can see in his debut he ran on a fast track here. Ran okay, but he ran a 65 speed figure on these brisnet past performances. Then he came back and he caught a sloppy track in his second lifetime start, and he ran a 90, and he ran a really nice race. Now the track was speed biased that day too. He comes back in a fast track and he gets trounced. Now he drops significantly into a restricted claiming race. See, here he was racing against multiple winners because it was a non-winners other than, and it was a $62,000 claiming race, optional. But here he's in against horses that only ran once. And if we go to the 5th, you can see here it is, May 5th, the 6th race. Here he is on a fast track. This is his last race. He finished dead last. I mean, he chased a little bit, and you know, so you know, to me, I'm not, you know, I'd be reluctant to bet on this horse on a fast track until he proves that he can handle a fast track. Because right now, I mean, his only good race is on a speed biased off track. And you know, maybe they'll try him on turf. He has one of these pedigrees. He might like turf. So that's one example. So now I'm going to go to we'll go to May 6th at Belmont, and we're going to go to the second race. This is another interesting one. So this is a non-winners of 1, and here you see a horse named Trash Talker. And here you can see he has 4 wins in his career. But look at his form on an off track. Here he runs a 98 speed figure on a fast track. In his next start, he's going up in class a little bit, but in his next start on a sloppy track, he runs a 77. Then he runs 90, you know, 3 90s in a row on fast tracks. And then he gets a sloppy track here. And this, you know, this was an off the turf race. They're usually not very strong when they're off the turf. And he runs a 59. And then, as you can see, he ran a bad race on a fast track here. But then they dropped him down in class, and he ran a 90 again on a fast track. So, this horse on an off track, I'm not going to be anxious to bet him until he proves he can handle an off track, because it looks like he hates an off track. So that's another example. Now they scratched him out of this race, so he didn't run in this race, but I just wanted to show you that as an example. Now we're going to go to, oh, right, I had another one on May 6th. Let me open that up again. In race number 4, now this one is a horse that I bet. This was my best bet on May 6th at Belmont. Actually, I did 2 best bets that day. They both won, but this one was Radio Red. He won, but I'll show you why I like this horse. All right, so he was in a non-winners of 1, New York bred, non-winners of 1. And you could see he started out his career, he was trounced in his first race on a money track. Came back on a money track again, trounced. Caught a fast track in his third lifetime start, ran huge. 100. I mean, look at the difference in speed figures from a 68 to 102. Then they put him in the Gotham, but which was obviously a big step up in class. He's going from New York bred to open company, and then he's going to a stakes race. But it was an off track again, so they shouldn't have run him in the off track. He obviously doesn't like an off track, but they ran him. So anyway, I liked him in this spot, dropping back into non-winners of 1, because I knew the track was going to be a fast track. So if we go over to May 6th here, and we go to race number 4. Here you can see it. He just, he set the pace under pressure and just drew clear and paid $9.40. So that was a good best bet, because it looked like a great spot for him, going back in a fast track into his proper condition after being, in the Gotham. And now we're going to go to May 7th. I'll pull the charts up here and let's close this. All right, so May 7th, I have 1 or 2 other examples here. All right, so we're going to go to race number 2. And there's a horse named Major Spin. And let's see, here he is. This is interesting too. Major Spin, all right, so this is a $14,000 non-winners of 3 lifetime. This horse is another horse that doesn't seem to run well on one type of surface, which is a fast track. He runs okay sometimes, but if you look at his record here, he runs a 79, he runs a 67, he runs a 75. Then he gets an off track here, and he runs a good solid second. Then he gets a sloppy track, and he runs his career best speed figure. Didn't win, but he ran a very strong race here. So you could see it was a fast pace, battling for the lead. Here on an off track, he lunged at the start. So that was, he's a speed horse, so he had no chance. And here they stepped him up in class. He was in a little bit too tough, and he didn't run that well on an off track. But then he caught an off track here, and he won. And then he got a fast track here. This horse, look, he's got 2 career wins, both on off tracks. His high speed figure is on an off track. Here he disappointed at 4 to 5 and ran a 74 on a fast track. And then he came back here, the second race on the 7th. Let's go to race number 2. And look at this, even money, and another bad race. He set the pace, even money. He's out of money. I mean, really bad, bad favorite as it turned out. I mean, he was dropping into a 14,000 non-winners of 3, and this is in a level, and he had a top jockey, so that's a level where you would think he'd be tough to catch. Now it could be he's just off form and everything, but. The thing is, this horse moves up on and off track. Now, I don't know. I'm not saying he'll never win on a fast track. He ran a couple of decent races. This race here, he ran a 79. But, I mean, he clearly does not like the fast track as opposed to the off track. So, I don't know what they're going to do with him. They either have to run him on turf or hope that it rains. Because otherwise, his fast track form isn't that good. So now we're going to go to race number 7. Now with a course like that, I just showed you too. I mean, if he's 20, if he's 15 to 1 and you want to take a chance on a fast track, that's one thing. But I mean, he was even money in that race. So now we go to the 7th race, and this horse was scratched, but he's still a good example. Icy Stare Down. This is another horse. You go back here to Oakland Park. And this is a couple of years ago when she was a 2-year-old. And money track, breaks her maiden, gets an off track next start, runs a nice third behind a repeat winner. And and this is in February at Oakland Park. It's when you have the good racing there in the winter. Then fast track, look how the number drops. No more 80s. It's 75. Then they tried turf. This horse doesn't like turf. It has a decent turf pedigree, but so far it doesn't seem to like turf. Then gets the off track again, at Laurel and romps. Then on an off track here, disputes the lead and tires, and then you get back to the fast tracks, a couple of decent efforts, but then you get an off track, new lifetime mark, 97. So the horse has raced, she's raced 11 times, and she has 3 wins on off tracks. No wins on fast tracks, no wins on turf. So she can race okay on a fast track. Probably it would help if the track is, kind of speed favoring. She's a speed favor, a speed horse. But there's no question that she likes an off track much better. So again, in a situation like this, now they scratched her here. But I mean, if I'm looking to, if I'm handicapping a race where she's in, and I know it's going to be a fast track, if she's in a spot where she's going to be a long shot, I might consider her, if her speed plays out in the race. But if she's a favorite on a fast track, I'm not betting her. And, it's just not, what I mean? You have to be careful about things like that because she hasn't proven that she can run to par. Now, I'll give you an example here. I mean, now this is a $32,000 claiming race. So the par time, which is right here, is an 86, right? So if you look at her fast track races, 82, 75, 80, 80. She doesn't run anywhere near par for a $32,000 claimer. On an off track, she runs better than par. 97, 90, 87, and even here she ran well. She only has one race on an off track that was below par. She had this 72 here, where she just didn't run well that day. But there are some examples, and these are things you have to watch for because you don't want to bet a horse. If you have a horse, for instance, who hates an off track, and it's an off track, you do not want to bet that horse. And vice versa. If you have a horse that's unproven, that has proven that it can't reach par on a particular type of surface, whether it's a fast track, an off track, a turf course, you don't want to bet those horses, especially if they're being bet, because that's an underlay. Now, again, with long shots, it's a little bit different. I mean, there's times when, like this horse, I mean, if she was a long shot and she was like controlling speed and it was a fast track, I might take a shot with her. I might use her, especially like say I was playing, like a pick 3 or something. But as far as keying her or betting her to win, at a short price, she'd have to be on a track that has some moisture in it for me to really get excited about her. And so anyway, I wanted to show you because sometimes these horses don't run well and people are mystified, but a lot of times there's a reason for it, and it's right here in the past performances. So that's it for today. Little handicapping tip. Remember to subscribe to my channel. We're going to have more good handicapping videos. This is Bob Pandolfo. Good luck.